Namaskar, you're watching Newsnight, the news agenda setting prime-time show on national news broadcaster Doordarshan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced the post of CDS in his Independence Day speech, which has now become a reality of the day with the announcement of the top military post today. On the show tonight, viewers, we put in focus the big takeaways of the key cabinet decisions taken today, which also includes approval of Census 2021 and also updating National Population Register. And talking about NPR Home Minister Amit Shah put it on record once again, loud and clear, that NCR and NPR has no link with each other whatsoever. I am Sakalbat, and first up on Newsnight, here are the headlines. Government announces post for the Chief of Defence Staff. The Chief will function as the Secretary of the Department of Military Affairs, which will be created under Ministry of Defence. Cabinet approves proposal for conducting Census of India 2021 and updating of National Population Register. No document required for NPR. Government names Rohtang Tunnel, a road link between Kullu and Lahore Valley after former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Home Minister Amit Shah categorically states no decision on NRC, further clarifies NPR has no connection with NRC. Home Minister says Cabinet Amendment Act will not take away citizenship of any Indian citizen. Cabinet approves mega reforms in Indian Railways, decides to restructure Railway Board, merge 8 organised Group A services into one service called Indian Railways Management System. And the birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee will be observed tomorrow. Cabinet approves outlay of rupees 6,000 crore for Atal Bhujal Yojana to be launched by Prime Minister Modi tomorrow. Prime Minister to unveil Atal Bihari Vajpayee statue in Lucknow as well. Health of the banking system improves significantly with the gross non-performing loan ratio remaining stable at 9.1%. In financial year 2018, the ratio stood at high of 11.2%. And parts of North India continue to reel under severe cold wave conditions. Srinagar records coldest night of the season, while Delhi NCR shivers on Christmas Eve with mercury dropping to 5.7 degrees Celsius. And Team India skipper Virat Kohli and Vice Captain Rohit Sharma end the year as top 2 ranked ODI players in ICC rankings. Jasprit Bumrah continues to be top ODI bowler despite not playing during most of the season due to injury. So, Union Cabinet has approved creation of post of Chief of Defence Staff of the rank of 4-star General with salary equivalent to Service Chiefs. Chief of Defence Staff will head the Department of Military Affairs to be created under Ministry of Defence and will function as its secretary. And this move is seen as a big way forward in bolstering national security, besides having a particular focus on better utilization of funds and also ensuring efficiency when it comes to procurement, as well as better synergy, better coordination among the 3 armed forces. We have a report.
From the ramparts of Red Fort, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced in his address to the nation on Independence Day this year that a Chief of Defence Staff will be appointed by his government. The Cabinet Committee on Security has approved the creation of a Chief of Defence Staff who will be the single-point military advisor to the government. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar added that the Department of Military Affairs, headed by the CDS, will be created under the Defence Ministry.
It was approved that there will be Chief of Defence Staff. We are giving the details in our press release. He will be 4-star General and will head new Department of Military Affairs.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has hailed this decision, and in a tweet he said, and I quote, "The decision to create CDS is a major step towards bringing about jointmanship between armed forces. With this decision, the government has fulfilled the commitment given by PM from the ramparts of Red Fort during his Independence Day speech this year. The recommendation for creating the post of Chief of Defence Staff was first made after the 1999 Kargil War. A high-level committee that was set up to examine the gaps in the country's security system in the wake of the Kargil war had recommended that the three services should have a chief of defence staff. A group of ministers that was formed in 2001 to explore necessary reforms required to improve India's national security had also favoured creating the post of chief of defence staff. Defense experts are of the view that CDS is a big move forward in bolstering national security, besides having a focus on better utilization of funds and ensuring efficiency when it comes to procurement as well as better synergy among the three armed forces.
This is a very good thing. It will enhance the defense preparedness, it will enhance the military capabilities, it will enhance the combat effectiveness. We are the fourth largest military in the world, but we also one of the least joint militaries in the world. The added flip to our military capabilities, so this is an excellent thing to happen.
In his first Independence Day speech in his second term, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made an announcement for India's defence forces to establish the post of Chief of Defence Staff for the three services: the Indian Army, the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force, the promise that has now been fulfilled. With inputs from Vikramjit and Rishi Kumar, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Cabinet also approved the conduct of Census of India 2021 and also updation of National Population Register or NPR worth rupees 8,754 crore. This has been allocated for this gigantic exercise of Census of India 2021 and at least 4,000 crore for the updation of National Population Register or NPR as it is popularly called. Remember, it's a mammoth exercise with mammoth benefits. The first NPR was prepared in 2010 under provisions of Citizenship Act 1955 and Citizenship Rules 2003. It was later updated in 2015. The Union Cabinet, viewers, has approved the proposal for conducting Census of India 2021. We have this comprehensive report.
The Union Cabinet has approved the proposal for conducting Census of India 2021 at a cost of rupees 8,754.23 crore and updation of National Population Register at a cost of rupees 3,941.35 crore. Census of India, the largest administrative and statistical exercise in the world, will cover the entire population in the country, while NPR will also cover all the population except in the state of Assam.
This National Population Register will be also was started. So this is the 16th census, 7 pre-independence, 8, and now these are 8 with this census. So this is 16th census which is going on for last so many years, and there will be National Population Register also. This will really benefit for target beneficiary schemes. It can cover all beneficiaries and right beneficiaries.
The next decennial census is due in 2021 and would be conducted in two phases: house listing and housing census April to September 2020 and population enumeration 9th February to 20th February 2021. The National Population Register will also be updated along with house listing and housing census except in Assam. 30 lakh field functionaries will complete this gigantic exercise. Census 2021 will be 16th census in the country and 8th after independence. Census is the biggest source of primary data at village, town and ward level. It provides micro-level data on various socio-economic parameters. The Union Cabinet also approved the Atal Bhujal Yojana. With an outlay of 6,000 crore rupees, the scheme aims to improve groundwater management through community participation in identified priority areas in 7 states: Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Implementation of the scheme is expected to benefit nearly 8,350 gram panchayats in 78 districts in these states.
अटल जल, उसके लिए 6,000 करोड़ रुपए का प्रबंध किया गया है। 3,000 करोड़ रुपए वर्ल्ड बैंक से मिलेंगे, 3,000 करोड़ भारत सरकार देगी। जिन राज्यों को अभी शुरुआत में ये मिल रहा है वो उनको पूरी ग्रांट है।
Union Cabinet has decided to name the strategic tunnel under Rohtang Pass after former PM Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The 8.8 kilometer long tunnel is the world's longest tunnel above an altitude of 3,000 meters. It will reduce the distance between Manali and Leh by 46 kilometers and save crores of rupees in transport cost. The cabinet also gave a green signal to the restructuring of the railway board by downsizing its strength from 8 to 5, including the chairperson, and merging its different cadres into a single railway management system. Instead of railway board members for traffic, rolling stock, traction and engineering, the newly constituted board will have members for operation, business development, human resources, infrastructure and finance. Indian Railways will now have only one cadre, Indian Railway Service, instead of current 8 services for various departments.
Union Cabinet took a very historic decision to merge all these 8 organized services into one service called the Indian Railway Management Service, IRMS. And now all the employees at management level, all the 8,400 employees, through one service called Indian Railway Management Service.
The Union Cabinet also gave ex post facto approval for official amendments to the Arms Amendment Bill 2019 moved and passed by the Lok Sabha on December 9, 2019. Cabinet also gave its approval to release funds for the 10 projects sanctioned during 2018-19 and for sanctioning of new projects during 2019-20 in Swadesh Darshan scheme. Bureau Report, DD India.
And now let's just break it up for you, simplify it for you, what NPR and Census 2021 is. And we begin with the background. Remember, this is not a knee-jerk movement by the government. Population census is being conducted in India since way back in 1872. It's been a very continuous process without a break. Census 2021, this is going to be the 16th census which will be held in the country and 8th one after independence. A little bit more about the background. This is the biggest source of primary data at all levels, micro, macro levels, village, town, ward levels, providing micro level data on various parameters, which includes housing conditions, amenities, assets, demography, SC/ST, religion, language, education, economic activity, migration as well. Moving on now, the Census Act 1948 and Census Rules 1990. These are the two rules which provide a legal framework or a legal liner for the conduct of census, how to go about it. Now, NPR, or National Population Register, was prepared in 2010 under provisions of Citizenship Act 1955 and Citizenship Rules 2003. Subsequently, remember, this was updated by 2015 by seeding it basically with Aadhaar card. Now, this is the background. Let's move on and understand what do we mean when we say updation of National Population Register 2019. Census of India, under this, it will cover the entire population of the country. But remember, when we talk of NPR, it will only cover all population except for Assam. Assam is an exception here. Around 30 lakh field functionaries will be involved in this mammoth exercise. The number in 2011 was 28 lakh and now it has risen. 2 lakhs functionaries have been added to it. Also, use of mobile applications for data collection, the central portal for monitoring purposes will also be utilized here. And we also have this user-friendly data dissemination for policy making. It is just a button away, basically very user-friendly and easy. Census as Services or CAS will deliver on-demand data to various ministries, and this will be machine readable, basically an actionable format on the computer, on the software. And the major impact, well, this is important for you to understand, mammoth employment generation potential it has. And the results available are in a very, very user-friendly manner. And the data for stakeholders will also include your ministries, your various departments at state and central level, research organizations, etc. So data will be available at all levels. And approximately 48,000 manpower for about 2,900 days. We're looking at larger numbers at local levels will be engaged in this exercise. In other words, we can say around 2.4 crore man days employment would be generated. So basically, this is also going to be a massive headway in terms of employment generation opportunities. Now, let's move on and also talk about new initiatives that have been taken for Census 2021. Now, this is a process, let's not confuse it with NPR. It involves households, visits. It's done at a very, very micro and basic level, canvassing separate questionnaire for house listing and housing census and population enumeration. Now, census basically also involves a monitoring and management portal with multi-language support so that it reaches out to one and all. And facility of online self-enumeration during population enumeration phase is also part of this. Transfer of honorarium fees, etc. will be directly done to your bank accounts using direct benefit services as well. So overall, this is how we simplify it for you. We don't have to confuse this with the Census 21 or NPR. These are two distinct processes or procedures, and this has got nothing to do with the NCR. Now, talking about this, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, in fact, has today categorically sought to dispel all myths and misinformation regarding government's decision, particularly related to NPR. Remember, this is the top story of the day, and also NRC as well as Cabinet Amendment Act. This was an exclusive interview to news agency. Home Minister made it absolutely clear. He put it on record that there is no link whatsoever between National Register of Citizens and National Population Register. Listen.
एनपीआर और एनआरसी के बीच में कोई संबंध ही नहीं है।
क्या इसमें
ये संडे को प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने जो भाषण किया उसके पहले 31/7/2019 को इसका नोटिफिकेशन निकला। इसका मतलब है कि कैबिनेट के हमारी फाइल का निर्णय वगैरह तो 6ठे महीने में हो चुके थे।
So Amit Shah, the Home Minister, sought to dispel all misinformation, false propaganda that is being spread about the detention centres, adding that there is no connection between the detention centres and NRC or, for that matter, Cabinet Amendment Act.
जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि एनआरसी अभी कहीं विचार में ही नहीं है। प्रधानमंत्री ने ठीक कहा है कि ना कैबिनेट में चर्चा हुई, ना पार्लियामेंट में एनआरसी ये एक्ट में किसी ने कहा है। मेरी पार्टी का घोषणा पत्र अपनी जगह पे है और जब होगा तब थोड़ी ना छिप कर होगा। ये एक्सरसाइज ऐसी नहीं होती।
On Newsnight, we slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll have a detailed discussion why NPR in Census 2021 is important, the benefits of it, and also a big way forward, a big leap forward when we talk about CDS and our military and defense reforms. After the break, don't go away. Thanks for staying with Republic TV. Let's move on and talk about InFocus topic for the show tonight. Big takeaways as far as the key cabinet decisions today are concerned, which include Census 2021 as well as National Population Register. In the Delhi studio, we have Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, eminent defense and security expert, joining us. Also, Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist. I'm going to go to Shekhar Iyer to just open this part of the discussion, especially National Population Register, Census 2021, and coming at a time when we have seen a lot happening in the national capital, perhaps elsewhere in the country, the agitations, the false propaganda, which finally, let's believe that they have all come to end. Today, Home Minister on record made it clear that there's no link. But just if we talk about NPR, Shekhar, why is it important? What are the benefits of it? And for a common man to understand, how is it going to make his life easy and simple?
Well, you see, the NRC, which everybody has been confusing with NPR and whatnot. NCR is, rather NRC is about the National Register of Indian Citizens. This particular thing is National Population Register, which is linked to the census. Now, census in our country takes place every 10 years. Last time it was done in 2010 and 11, and the census of 2011 is what is being used as a basic data for planning of a lot of policies. Now, it is 10 years down now, so we are back to the census. Now, NPR was done in 2010 It was finally updated and was by the time it got completed, it was 2015. Now, NPR is National Population Register.
Yes.
This is about where you exactly stay, I mean the usual residence. What is your usual residence for the last 6 months and where are you going to for the next 6 months? On that basis, on the basis of your own information, what you volunteer to give about yourself, about your status, about your education, about your occupation. On that basis, the details are collected. Now, there can be input of biometric details because you can also provide your Aadhaar details. So, what you get is a national people, some kind of a identity card that also has information that Aadhaar has, but mentions particularly where you are right now. Now, this particular information in terms of demographic details.
Demographic details.
Yeah,
yes,
it is. It's very important. Let's say, see, 10 years today, India is a, it's a country of young people who keep moving here and there. And since we have a different social backgrounds, linguistic variety. So,
Yes.
what happens is in metropolitan cities, I am giving an example which the
Sure.
Home Minister also mentioned today. Suppose there is a section of say Odia speaking people living in Bangalore.
Okay.
Now, and there could be a lot of them because it's being IT city and all. Now, details like this, that who have been staying where, perhaps there could be a need for the state government to introduce a school where the mother tongue Oriya can be taught.
Okay.
Similarly, there may be places in the north or in the west where probably a South Indian population is there and they may like their children to have, I mean, I am giving an example. So, this kind of demographic details helps in better planning and particularly at
Yes.
this information will go, I mean, will be taken at the block level, at the district level,
Yes.
at the city level. So, this information actually helps in preparing this thing.
Lieutenant General Kulkarni, you agree with him, and also governance, going to help in governance and also in terms of its strategic importance when it comes to our defense preparedness, because if I have data which is taken at a micro level and I know if I'm a DC and I know who are the people who are staying in that particular district, I think that's going to be very, very helpful administratively. It's more of an administrative process. And why I'm asking you this, because there's a lot of misinformation and unnecessary apprehension attached to this. You agree?
There's no denying the fact. It's unnecessarily, the word used is absolutely apt, it's unnecessarily apprehensions of something which has got no roots whatsoever. It is primarily to tell us that in a particular area, there were 100 people staying, say about 6 months back, and today there are 500, or they have virtually migrated and there are none staying there. So, how are we logistically be able to say as a military man, I would rather be able to say that yes, a particular village had 1,000 people staying there and it helped me doing porter, whatever that is, and suddenly I find that there are only 500, and therefore, the need for me to be able to convey to the authorities that I am not able to now get porters from a particular village because they seem to have relocated themselves elsewhere, or they have the availability of porters is not possible because the standard of living seems to have gone up so high that they don't seem to be now working in that particular field and they need something else from somewhere. So, this is only with a view to help to be able to identify where and how, who is staying and in what numbers are they staying, how can we help them and how can they help us.
Shekhar,
So
there's nothing to get alarmed about here, right?
Nothing
Shekhar,
alarming about
yes,
it.
Yeah, and precisely that's why we had the Home Minister coming on record today stating that there is no decision as of now when it comes to NRC, NRC and National Population Register, there's no connection, there is no link. Shekhar.
Yeah, you see, here there is, when it comes to the National Register of Citizens, this is about registering people who are Indian citizens, where the citizen is required to furnish proof, to furnish documents. And here there is no question of furnishing anything, it's purely on the basis of what you say, that where have you been living for the last 6 months, what are your plans for the next 6 months, are you a regular resident, which is your permanent resident. This is in a bit, gets the details of a particular area.
More than Aadhaar.
Now, the people are asking the question,
Yes.
what is the census?
Yes.
Now, census gets little deeper because it goes into house, house by house. Who is the head of the family? What is the economic profile of that family? Do they own a car? Do they own a television? How many sets? Do they have two-wheelers? This kind of details is further profiling of the economic profile, which is very important, particularly to understand the measures to remove poverty, measures to deal with other social inequalities. That data is completely different. Now, the NPR is largely about that particular place, And we need to have that kind of information when we are looking at providing some basic services in that region. Now, Aadhaar has already been used as mandated by the Supreme Court for providing some subsidy services, which is direct as under the direct beneficiaries scheme. Now, so therefore, the confusion arises because a lot of talk is, NPR is actually the way to NRC. Now, because here nobody is asking for evidence, it goes by what you say.
There's no document required in
because
NPR. Yes.
Here somebody can be Indian citizen, somebody maybe may not be an Indian citizen, but that is not the issue. If you are a resident there, and for usual residents, because the important part is a usual resident. So therefore, I think a fear about this doesn't seem to have a basis.
Politics, Lieutenant General Kulkarni, there's no scope. As we understand, it's purely an administrative procedure. And at the end of the day, if we talk a little bit more about how is it going to benefit me, I mean, I understand it's going to help the government in terms of outreach at micro level. The governance will be simplified as an administrative instrument. It's very, very important. But then how is it going to benefit me? I live in a village, and if I'm registered on NPR, how is it going to help?
See, after all, the government is there to ensure that people are safe. Government is here to ensure that people are prospering. Government is here to ensure that they get adequate education. Government is here to ensure that they get water, electricity. How are they going to be able to certify that this particular area where the government had allocated say 150 gas cylinders to go there every month for cooking for the poor women over there, and suddenly now you find that it is not 150, the requirement is 450. How is the government got to know that the requirement has gone from 150 to 450 unless they have a data? So this data helps the government to now ensure that at least in the next 6 months, not 150 but 450. Having done so, you suddenly find that they have now relocated, they are not in that particular location after a year or so, and have moved to say Delhi for better chances for employment or whatever it is. At least there is no need to supply it over there, otherwise it will be a total misuse. So we always have limited resources, and those limited resources have to be utilized for the good of all. And therefore, this particular exercise which is being done is for the good of the people both ways. We also get to know how many people are where and what is it that they require.
But Shekhar, many are questioning the timings of it. How do you respond to that criticism or an effort to raise some red flags here or be a little iffy or apprehensive about NPR in Census 2021?
Citizenship Amendment Act is a different thing, and it was seen as this is a precursor to the National Register for Citizens. That's a different thing. This is about census. Census is any case mandated every 10 years. And also cards have been given before also. You see, 2010 it was done, and I recall an event which was held in Rashtrapati Bhavan where your former Home Minister, then P. Chidambaram, had presented the first NPR card to Pratibha Patil, who was then the president. So, I mean, this is a normal exercise that goes on, and here there is nobody is going to, and what is proposed this time is on the app base. You download an application and you do it from your mobile. So there is not much hassle involved.
But it is mandatory for me to do that.
So therefore, this is not to be confused with that, because if you are talking of National Register for Citizens, that's a completely different thing, because where people who are seen as doubtful citizenship, they may be asked for evidence, and those evidence will have to be verified.
Okay.
See, because it's being made repeatedly clear by the government, it has been made clear by the Prime Minister.
So it's also in a way weeding out process, isn't it?
See, striking somebody's citizenship is not a simple exercise.
Okay.
See, where there is a doubt, you will have to provide evidence, and evidence will be taken from both sides. So therefore, I think there is a needless confusion about what is essentially a 10-year exercise, and on that exercise, and that's an important exercise, because census is a very big exercise, and census data, since the government's intention was you don't do it, duplicate the effort. Since you are already going to collect demographical details for census, along with that you also do about the population in terms of where people are residing, who are residing where, what is the nature of that migration, whether they are permanent residents, whether they are temporary residents, whether they are people who are permanent residents somewhere, they come here, because these details help in planning a lot of things like issues like housing, water supply, you are providing other basic facilities, and even transport, because these are the ways to even assess what kind of transport facilities are needed. I mean, what kind of what I would call the last mile connectivity, because that kind of information is important for town planners.
Lieutenant General Kulkarni, you know, the question on the timings of it is what I was in fact wanting to elaborate a little bit more, because here we don't want, I think there is no scope for politics or misinformation on false propaganda here. Home Minister on record has categorically stated there is no connection, there is no link, and this is purely an administrative exercise, which also, sir, since you are a defense expert here, I'm going to talk to you about CDS as well. The surveillance part of it, weeding out those who don't have authentic documents, especially when you talk about surveillance in border areas, do you think it's going to be of immense help there as well? Security.
See, what happens is, sometimes it does surprise me by the misinformation that is being said. The Citizenship Amendment Act does not deprive anybody of citizenship.
No, I'm talking about NPR and
yeah,
census.
it only gives citizenship, number one. Having said that, now this particular exercise, say in the border areas are concerned, it's very essential for us to know and also be able to tell as to what is the strength in each of the villages that are adjoining. Suddenly, if the strength is depleted for whatever the reason it is, we would get to know the strength is depleted. If it is increased, we would know why it is increased. So it is very essential. It is, I look at it as part of Sadbhavna, as a military man, that I know that in a particular village, if there were 500 people earlier, if I have to now provide something more, I need to provide more. If the numbers have reduced, I need to reduce it. So for me, it's an exercise of Sadbhavna all along the border for my own people, and to be able to identify if some anti-national elements have moved in, I should be able to identify them.
Anti-national elements, why this is very important, very important point, Shekhar Iyer.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
along the border, IB, LOC.
See, particularly as Lieutenant General was saying, that along the border there are migrations which are of suspicious type, and it is important that we know who are the normal residents of that area, particularly very close to the LOC. So therefore, I think it's an important exercise, and people themselves should not have a problem, because nobody is going to question, because this is a voluntary information. This is not an information which is being, you have to back it with some document. And if you have an Aadhaar card, you can provide the Aadhaar information. So therefore, this is having the demographic details along with biometrical details. And census is completely a different thing, because census is about who are the people there, what's the economic profile, what is their economic data related to that, do they own the houses, are they staying in rented houses, what kind of economic capacity that they have been able to exercise, because that information also helps in understanding so many things, including consumer demand, consumer supply.
So the collation of data and how the data is going to be used is extremely critical and important. Let's move on, Lieutenant General. We also talk about the other big story, in fact, CDS. As a ex-defense personnel, you think this was a reform in waiting, and in fact one of the biggest post-independence era? And why do we call it a big leap forward? What all are we looking at now?
You know, over the years, the strategic environment has changed. Over the years, modernization has taken a big leap. Budget restrictions are always there. So how to be able to utilize what we have to the best of our three services is what is required, number one. Number two, after all, we are a huge army. We are the fourth largest armed forces in the world. We do require a single point advisor to the government whenever the government is to be able to ask her.
This was perhaps the need of the hour.
Yeah, absolute need of the hour, to be able to advise the Raksha Mantri on issues that he wishes to know on tri-service matters. However, the CDS does not impinge upon the military command of the three services. The three services are absolutely free to advise the Raksha Mantri on respective services. So there is no problem. But however, how does he bring the synergy in that purple community is very important. The jointness gives that particular strategic ability to be able to do. He, as a CDS, knows exactly where the priorities lies, how the budget has to be allotted, how the modernization would take place, how other existing infrastructure that is available can be utilized.
So
how can logistics?
There are no, for us to understand, there are no overlapping jurisdictions here, Shekhar Iyer.
No, I don't think so. You see, after all, as your earlier report mentioned, this was one of the recommendations of the Kargil
Yes.
War Review
Yes,
Committee,
yes, yes.
which went into how we fight the future of wars better, with greater synergy, with greater value for money, and also in terms of preparing for the future, because today the wars are not purely fought on the land, water or sea, to which our army, navy and air force specialize. It's more about hybrid wars, more electronics, more technology, which would require all these three wings which are there of our armed forces. They are able to coordinate better, and more importantly, this is creating a new Department of Military Affairs. So what has so far been the arrangement is, you have the defense minister, there is a defense secretary, then you have the services chiefs. Now there was a feeling, a perception among the armed forces that there is a lot of more civilian kind of thing, which is rather prevents the military experts from expressing to the government the particular requirements.
Lieutenant General Kulkarni to quickly respond to that. Was there a feeling, this sort of
and this will essentially, Sakal,
yes,
by having a chief of defense staff who is also the head of that military affairs department. So a lot of strategic issues, lot of matters that require strategic planning and strategic decisions, and they flow to the defense minister, who is again who is a civilian.
See, all matters military are to be dealt by the Department of Military Affairs, which is headed by the Chief of Defence Staff, under whom are these three services. Now, besides this, the integrated headquarters of defence of all the three services are under the Chief of Defence Staff. Besides it, the territorial army goes under him, the works go under him, the procurement goes under him. He is a single point military advisor on issues of nuclear. Now, when there is a nuclear control authority, he is a person who is advising them. He is a single point authority on various issues on tri-services. So, there are issues which these service chiefs are now being taken away. They are focusing on operational, and they are focusing on their respective services, on ensuring that at any point of time.
I'm just curious to know, as we wrap it up, I mean, this has been hailed by the forces overall, isn't it?
100%.
Right, absolutely, fantastic. But why we took it, I mean, we took so long to finally realize this dream?
See, what happens is, the Kargil Review Committee headed by K. Subramaniam did recommend that there should be a CDS. Then came the Naresh Kumar task force, which said, we said no, we should have the the permanent.
But this also shows the decisiveness of this government and not really wasting too much of time.
The apprehension.
But they're acting on it.
What has happened is, over a period of time, the need was there. There is no denying the fact. Even the Shekatkar committee said yes. Even the Naresh task force said yes. Everybody has been saying yes. There has been. Even the group of ministers committee headed, in which Mr. L.K. Advani was there, George Fernandez was there, Jaswant Singh, Yashwant Sinha were there. They all said the CDS is there. And now a final decision has been taken. There is no denying the fact that the need of the hour to be able to get exact what you want, and to be able to utilize the limited resources to the good of the armed forces, and to make armed forces stronger, and to be able to align themselves with what is the need of the hour.
Yes. On that note, thank you very much, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni and Shekhar Iyer, for joining us on the show tonight. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let's move on now and talk about the other big story of the day. Well, amidst more voices growing in support of the Citizenship Amendment Act, refugees from Pakistan, refugees from Afghanistan, refugees from Bangladesh, they all have hailed Modi government's decision of getting amended form of citizenship bill. We get you more stories from across the country, the outreach campaigns that dispel all myths and snub misinformation campaign, and we also get you some success stories. Some case studies how the Citizenship Amendment Act has touched many lives in positive ways.
The voices in support of the Citizenship Amendment Act are getting louder across the country. After the outreach campaign by the BJP for the Act, a march was organized by the party in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. Supporters of the Act took part in huge numbers. Similar demonstrations were also held in different parts of Kerala.
Now the people are all aware that they are now convinced that the Congress and CPM and other organizations have ridiculed and misinterpreted the laws regarding the citizens' rights.
The refugees from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh have thanked Prime Minister Modi for the CAA. They say that after staying in India as a refugee, they are getting the citizenship now. One such couple have also named their newborn daughter as Nagrikta.
हमने अपने बच्चों तक का नाम ना गिरता रख दिया अपनी खुशी से।
ऐसा फायदा है हमारे को कि जो होली दिवाली त्यौहार से भी ज्यादा बढ़कर हमारे को खुशी हुई है, जो 70 सालों में नागरिकता ना मिली और हम 7 साल में हमें नागरिकता मिल रही है, तो उससे खुशी की बात और हो नहीं सकती।
In Daman, the Muslim Association has expressed their support for the act. They say the act does not snatch away anyone's citizenship, rather it gives one.
ये सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट जो आया हुआ है उसमें दोहरी नागरिकता, भारत में रहने वाले नागरिक, गोवा दमन दीव में रहने वाले नागरिक, किसी को कुछ भी जरूरत नहीं है। सरकार किसी की नेशनलिटी लेने वाली नहीं है। सरकार नागरिकता उन लोगों को दे रही है जो पड़ोसी मुल्क से आए हुए हैं और वो अल्पसंख्यक है यहाँ पर और बहुत सालों से वहाँ पर वो पीड़ा में थे, तो सरकार उनको एक यहाँ पर एक आश्रय देने के लिए ये नेशनलिटी का काम कर रही है।
There is a sense of happiness amongst the displaced also. In Jodhpur, many have expressed their gratitude towards the NDA government.
जो अपने जैसलमेर, बाड़मेर और जोधपुर के जो एरियो में जो पहले अकाल के टाइम जो लोग निकल गए थे वही वापस आ रहे हैं, उनकी घर वापसी हो रही है। और बड़े अफसोस की बात है कि राजस्थान सरकार और कांग्रेस जो इस तरह से विरोध कर रही है।
हमारे लिए नागरिकता का ये किया है प्रोग्राम, जो हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छा है। हम यही चाहते हैं कि हमारे लिए मोदी जी ने ये नागरिकता किए, इसी के लिए मोदी जी को धन्यवाद।
In Poonch, a Pakistani woman was given the citizenship after 36 years. Khatija Parveen was a Pakistani citizen. In 1983, she married Mohammad Taj of Poonch in J&K. She got the visa but did not get the Indian citizenship. She had applied for one under the Citizenship Act 1955 in the year 2000. 2 days ago, the Ministry of Home Affairs on human grounds accepted her application, after which the DC of Poonch gave her the citizenship certificate.
मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि मुझे नेशनलिटी मिल गई है। जब मैं कहीं जाती थी परेशानी होती थी मुझे वीज़ा बढ़ाने की, कभी पासपोर्ट की डेट ख़त्म, कभी वीज़े की, तो अब मैं इंडियन पासपोर्ट पे जाऊंगी।
सबको बहुत खुशी है कि एटलीस्ट एक हम जब कभी भी जाते थे, मैं वहाँ पर जाता तो मुझे वीज़ा एक्सटेंशन की ज़रूरत होती थी, अब हम दोनों इंडियन पासपोर्ट पे जाएंगे।
A plea was filed against the violent protest for CAA in Supreme Court, which demanded for action against protesters by state and central government. The action against rumor mongers has also been demanded. Meanwhile, the protest against CAA is continuing at some places, including the national capital, Delhi. With inputs from Arun Sharma, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
In fact, now the CCTV footage of riots and arson triggered by miscreants who staged these protests in various parts of the country in the last week revealed the truth behind these protests. Now, in this report, we're going to show you these excerpts of CCTV footage that reveal how these protests were instigated, they were triggered by these miscreants. Not only that, these protests, they were well planned and well orchestrated. Take a look.
The violence during the anti-CAA protests were pinned on the alleged high-handedness of the police forces. While it was said that the force was used against peaceful protesters, at the receiving end were the security personnel. But now the CCTV footage has thrown light on the flip side of the coin. We are showing you CCTV footages from different parts of the country as to how protesters instigated violence. This CCTV footage of arson during protests outside Jamia Millia Islamia makes big revelations. These visuals will show you those behind the arson incident. This footage, released by Delhi police sources, shows clearly how miscreants indulged in stoking violence. How some miscreants come near a bike too and one miscreant sets it alight. And then how they drag the burning bike near a DTC bus. Another video shows how some miscreants take out petrol from a bike and they go near a DTC bike with a bottle full of petrol. And this video shows miscreants pelting stones at the bus. They first light fire in the bushes and then set the bus on fire. During the Jamia protests, political leaders also accused the police of setting alight public property in order to implicate innocents. But now the truth has come to the fore. Now this CCTV footage tells us the true picture. The truth behind the violence in Mangaluru in Karnataka has also come out. Last week, 2 people had lost their lives in the protests against the CAA. The CCTV video shows the violence in Mangaluru was an orchestrated conspiracy. The CCTVs near houses and on the roads were tampered with by the miscreants. The footage released by Mangalore police shows how all the incidents of violence were motivated and orchestrated. This footage tells you the truth behind the protest in Aligarh Muslim University. During the protest in university on 15th December, it was alleged that police forced their way inside the premises and mishandled the situation. But the CCTV footage has rubbished this theory and brought out the facts and truth. It shows how miscreants in huge numbers tried to enter the university. Although the gates were closed by the security personnel, but it was forcefully opened by the crowd. It was a completely chaotic situation, after which the police, in order to bring the law and order situation under control, took action. Had it not been for the police that time, the situation would have completely gotten out of hand. The entire CCTV footage shows how protest in these places definitely bears a conspiracy hue, which justifies further investigation. Although this can be said without an iota of doubt that some of the protests were well planned in advance. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And now let's have a look at what's making news across the country.
President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that institutes that render technical education must never hesitate to teach and experiment with the latest of technologies. Addressing the first convocation ceremony of NIT Andhra Pradesh, Vice President said that institute must allow the free flow of ideas and must never stifle innovative thinking through rigid protocols. Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Dharmendra Pradhan today unveiled India's first long-distance CNG bus fitted with CNG cylinders at a function in New Delhi. It can travel around 1,000 km in a single fill. Talking to reporters, Mr. Pradhan said this is a revolutionary step which help reduce vehicular pollution. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Congress RJD alliance take claim to form new government. The alliance has won 47 seats out of 81 assembly seats. The BJP got 25 seats. JMM elected MLAs officially elected Hemant Soren as the leader of legislature wing of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar alleged that everything in the state has become politicized. He was forced to leave Jadavpur University without presiding over its convocation as protesters blocked his way. The governor alleged that there has been effort by the state government to undermine the authority and functioning of the governor.
Moving on, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar presented annual Akashvani Awards in National Capital today. All India Radio has been conferring these awards since 1974 for enhancing the professional excellence of the employees of its various centres and establishments. Addressing the annual Akashvani Awards function, Prakash Javadekar said that the government will introduce digital radio by 2024. He made it very clear that the audio of the digital radio will be better and its reach will be much higher.
हम डिजिटल रेडियो ला रहे हैं और आप तैयार हो जाओ। तो ये डिजिटल रेडियो 2024 में आएगा और 2024 के पहले ऑटोमेटिक अभी 2-3 साल में आदमी फ़ोन बदलता ही है और जब हम बताते हैं तो फ़ोन कंपनियां भी उसमें उसके अनुरूप तकनीकी बदलाव जो है वो करेंगे, रेडियो ट्रांजिस्टर वाले भी करेंगे, तो सभी के पास नए रूप में या अभी जाएंगे नेचुरल कोर्स में और जब पूरा देश तैयार है तब डिजिटल रेडियो आएगा, ज़्यादा स्पष्टता होगी, ज़्यादा दूर तक भी सुनाई देगा.
And Prasar Bharati Chairman Dr. A. Surya Prakash stated that All India Radio News commands huge credibility. He also said that Akashvani has one of the largest news gathering and dissemination apparatus in the entire world.
Actually, many of these programs which are produced by All India Radio have a direct link with the mandate given to us by Parliament in the Prasar Bharati Act. We have a lot of responsibilities, and that includes responsibilities vis-a-vis the underprivileged and every section of society. The choice and adoption of appropriate and cost-effective technology to bring about improvement in the quality of radio program production and transmission is a challenge. Therefore, awards to promote technical excellence surely goes a long way in innovating for challenging times.
And on this occasion also, Prasar Bharati CEO Shashi Shekhar Vempati termed this as a great day to celebrate all the different streams of competencies over the radio network.
I think it's a great day here to celebrate all the different streams of skills and competencies across the radio network over the years, be it in music, be it in documentaries, be it in news, and as our DG just now said, architectural wonders. So I think it's a great moment that we celebrate your contribution.
Well, Runnotsav at the Great Run of Kutch has its own charm and popularity. And over these years, a large number of tourists visit the white sand desert, and it has managed to become a hot favorite destination amongst them as well.
Runnotsav in Gujarat celebrates one of the most ecologically and ethnically diverse regions in the country. Kutch is known as a land of art, crafts, music, dance, people and nature. Kutch is celebrating its flagship event called Runnotsav. This year, Runnotsav is being organized on the theme of Run Ki Kahaniyan. And keeping in mind the increasing number of tourists every year, the number of tents has also been increased. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu inaugurated the festival at Thodo village near Bhuj. People from all over the world visit Run of Kutch to experience this unique festival. Tent city situated in Run's Thodo village, about 80 km north from Bhuj, is famous among the visitors. The white sand desert on a full moon day in all its glory is a sight to behold and lifetime experience. Runnotsav festival also offers the local people to showcase their ethnic craft and art at the craft bazaar. Along with visiting different sites, tourists also enjoy the traditional Kutchi food.
I've come with my whole family. It's a brilliant experience. We've come to the run, the desert, everywhere, and it's just so worthy of coming.
बहुत नॉलेजेबल गाइड्स हैं इनको अपने उनके एरिया के सब हर एक चीज़ पता है, हर एक कल्चर पता है, वहाँ का खाना हो, वहाँ के लोग हो, वहाँ के हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स हो, उसके बारे में बारीक इन्फॉर्मेशन ये बताते हैं हमें. सो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. हम बाहर के स्टेट के लोग हैं, हमको ये पता करना हमारे देश में कौन से तरीके के लोग रहते हैं, उनका कल्चर क्या है.
While this festival is a wonderful experience for the tourists, it is a fruitful employment opportunity for the local people. The festival has majorly contributed to the development of this area. The 3-day festival, which started in 2006, has now taken the form of a 120-day-long festival and prom. Tourists get to experience the vivid colors of Kutchi art, culture and Kutchi cuisine. The freshness of this fest speaks for itself. Kutch nahi dekha, to kuch nahi dekha. With bureau inputs from Meghna Dev, DD News.
That could be your next destination for winter vacations. And now talking about winters, let's talk about Christmas. Look now at the festive excitement ahead of Christmas. Well, in the entire country and of course the world, Christmas festivities are taking place in Goa as well. The dress of Santa has become a source of attraction for children there. Christmas is marked by midnight masses in churches, star making, carol singing and crib decoration competitions as well. Christmas enthusiasm in Goa will continue till New Year celebrations. These are some visuals on your screens. With more tourists having arrived in Goa for Christmas celebrations, is only going to grow from here. The sound of 150-year-old holy bells of the historic Christ Church in Shimla, Himachal Pradesh, will be heard again after 38 years from today. Its sound will reverberate across the city. People of the city are also quite excited about it. The bell was non-functional for several years but is now functional, just in time for Christmas. And now let's quickly go live to Amchi, Mumbai to connect with our correspondent Ruhi in Mumbai. Ruhi, I'm going to in fact hand it over to you. Behind you I can see a lot of fun, frolic, massive build-up for Christmas. Over to you. How are Mumbaikars all prepped up and prepared to celebrate Christmas this year?
As you can see, Circle Mumbai is completely bright and lighted up tonight as the Christmas celebrations have just begun. Today is the eve of Christmas and tomorrow the celebrations will further move on. But as you can see, the people have gathered here. We are here at Mount Mary Church in Bandra, which is supposed to be a very popular church in the entire Mumbai, as a lot of Catholic dominance resides over here in this place in Bandra. So as you can see behind me, there are a lot of people gathered over here for the midday mass, for the midnight mass. And as you can see, people, the mass has already begun. Carol singing has been started over here, and it will continue till 12 o'clock. And as the clock strikes 12 o'clock, and everybody will be celebrating and welcoming Jesus Christ as his birthday is tomorrow. And further, we can see the celebrations tomorrow again. So yeah, you can see people from various various places across the Mumbai have come in over here and are celebrating the festivities. The entire place is drenched into festivities, and people from every walk of life, not only Catholics but people from every religion, every caste has come over here to celebrate Christmas. So that is the that is the entire that is the entire thing about Christmas, that people from everywhere come across and
we'll have to just say
it.
goodbye to you as of now, but you have great Christmas celebrations up ahead, and also wishing viewers of Doordarshan Merry Christmas. And as we bid goodbye to 2019, your channel Doordarshan or DD News is hosting online poll to determine the news of the year in different segments. Now, the viewer is the boss. We always maintain that, and you will decide the top trending news stories which will make the cut to the top. So be a part of the process and make your vote count in the final tally only on DD News. The poll for the top government initiatives is now open. Please visit our Twitter as well as Facebook page to register your choice. Thanks for tuning in. Namaskar.